Hello. This podcast is about how to study English. First of all, what I want to mention is that many books that are about English, about methodology, they typically destroy previous methods or other methods by saying why those methods are bad and why their method is good. So I'm not going to do that. So I'm saying that all methods are good. Maybe some methods are better for one person, other methods are better for another person. We should never deny all of them. Many people ask me which books should I read or which movies should I watch in order to learn English. More frequently people ask me about the books, about grammar books, which is strange. By studying grammar and grammar only, it's almost impossible to learn English or any other language. Why? Well, our brain does not learn this way. As kids, we never studied grammar before we start speaking first words. Okay. So, but the question is, what is the good way to learn English? Imagine you're hired to do some project. Your boss told you, okay, so here's the problem, do it, okay? And you know that bosses do not like small questions. You will never come to them and ask, oh, well, I do not know how to start. You will be fired on the spot. So you have to do something. So maybe you will ask your friends how to start doing this problem. Most likely they will not know because they work on different things. Maybe you will Google something. So how to do this thing. Most likely, if you're working for a company, projects are most likely unique. So you will find a little guidance on the web. So at some point of time, you will have to just sit down and start thinking about the problem deeply. Okay. So maybe you will end up using, I don't know, thousands of methods that fail, and then eventually 1001st method will actually succeed, and you will think, oh, yeah, why was I so stupid? Why didn't I think of this method first? But guess what? If this method pop into your head before other methods that you used, most likely it won't work. Why? Because when you started doing this project, when you started thinking about the problem, you didn't have a big picture about this problem. So no matter how good of a method you came up with, most likely it will not work, because in many cases when you start doing something new, you think in a local sense, and gradually you develop a big picture. So suppose you have succeeded and you know how to do this problem, and then boss, the next day or next month, your boss tells you to work on another problem which is equally as hard and complex as the first problem was. So guess what? Now you have a big picture. Okay, so you know how to approach those kinds of problems and how to solve them successfully and fast. Something that your boss will always need from you. But now, after solving several problems, your boss tells you, okay, there are several interns. You need to educate them how to solve those kinds of problems, because our company grows, and yeah, just do it. As an experienced person, obviously you do know how to do this problem, but how would you actually teach people how to do this problem? Will you tell them, yes, you need to go through all those 1,000 steps that fail in order to solve this problem? Well, maybe in a way it will work if it worked for you, because eventually by going through all those steps you came up with a solution to this problem. But what if people have a different vision or different view on how to solve the problem? So, and all people are obviously different. So, question is how to make people see the way to go from the beginning of solving the problem to its completion. Obviously, it's not a very a simple task. So, likewise, when you start learning English, you do not know how to do that. So you start doing something. Maybe you read grammar. Maybe you watch movies randomly, because in the beginning it doesn't make any difference. Maybe, well, unless those movies were specifically designed to study English. But I mean, in the real world, people do not necessarily speak slowly, and so that you will not be able to understand them. So it doesn't really matter what movie you actually watch. You won't understand much. But suppose eventually you came to the point where you realize, yeah, I can read books. Yeah, after watching so many movies, I can understand them. I can speak. People can understand me. It clicked at some point of time. It clicked, and so you can do something that you were not able to do that before. But and then somebody comes to you and says, "Well, apparently you're a very experienced person. Your English is good. Teach me." And then you're like that employee who had to work on a big project. You think, well, how will I make a person to see a bigger picture about English? Should I tell him to go through all those necessary or unnecessary steps that I went through? Maybe some of them failed not because they were bad, and succeeded not because you're too smart, it's just because those methods were just in the right place at the right time, and you happen to use those methods. And the person whom you're going to teach will not be ready, will not be in the point of their mental readiness, to grasp those ideas or those methods quickly. So the question is how to make people learn how to see big picture. It applies not to only studying English, but to many other things. And I think the answer is as complicated as the question.